Alright, so this is going to be a quick Bitcoin update. I want to talk about what has happened. I'll take a look at market Cipher, see how things are developing, and then I'll go over some of the levels that I'm watching. So right now are sitting at the low of this little local range that we formed after putting in this high. We came down to take out that low that we put in the other day, and at this point, all of my trades from over here are stopped out because I added to them a little bit over in this area. I took a little bit more profits out up here, and then I had my stop loss at my entry. So those are now all closed out. I am still in the short that I entered the other day when I was recording, somewhere up around this area. And I just entered one long right in this area. So the short and the long are the only trades that I'm in. And right now I'm just trying to hedge myself because I still don't necessarily know what Bitcoin's going to do. I mean, you never know, but right now I'd say things are at a pretty pivotal point, and I'm uncertain as to which way it's going to go. Are we going to continue moving to the downside and break 4-hour structure, beginning a downtrend, and basically putting an end to this pump that we've been on? Or are we going to continue the uptrend? Are we going to eventually make our way up here to put in a new higher high, which could also potentially be continuing this weekly structure? So far, we have just wicked this weekly high, but if we're able to get above this high and close a weekly candle up here, then we will be continuing this weekly structure. We will have officially put in a higher low and then another higher high in this weekly structure. So a lot of potentially very important developments could happen in the near future. If we kind of start breaking 4-hour structure here, then I would probably consider this like an SFP of this high, even though, I'm not sure what kind of effect that would have because, the two market structure points on the weekly were the high and the low down here. We hadn't put in a weekly higher low yet and then another higher high. And so far we have just kind of come up to wick this high. So, I guess if we start retracing here and, continue getting a move to the downside, maybe we can still put in a weekly high or low somewhere. And I guess this would just be the weekly high. So basically we are just playing the waiting game now, waiting to see what's going to happen. And in the meantime, I've just been trading this local price action and, again, essentially just trying to stay hedged. Right now I'm in a long from the lows and a short from the highs of the range because I still don't know which way we're going to go. I think it's still possible for us to continue the uptrend, eventually make our way up towards the highs and, kind of continue with this bullishness. But also some things are, showing some bearish signs, like, for example, going through some time frames on market Cipher, you're starting to see this money flow that was once very thick in the green start to turn over. And it looks like on the 4-hour momentum is looking to put in a lower low here. Looking at the 3-hour, money flow is about to cross into the red. It is, taking a very serious fall here along with momentum. You can see that on the 2-hour as well. So money flow is seemingly bleeding out on some of these higher time frames, which is pretty bearish. Usually when you see these swings in money flow like this, they tend to have an impact. Just kind of looking at price, the last time the money flow bled out like this, we had a lot more downside to go. So unless this money flow can really turn around and maybe just spend a little bit of time in the red here before getting another push to the upside, that is looking pretty bearish, and it is making me lean more towards us getting a retracement here. But, I don't think it necessarily means it has to be now. Maybe we can still put in another higher high. But, again, if the money flow continues to bleed out here, then price is most likely going to follow it. And we do know that we have now confirmed bear divs on the daily as well. So there are definitely some bearish signs, and it seems like there is reason for us to get a retracement here. So looking locally, we have SFP this low. There was some trades that got stopped out here, as you can see by this very large decrease of open interest. That is a lot of trades closing out. In fact, this looks like the largest decrease we have seen in quite a while, so that is significant. and so far we've gotten a pretty decent reaction. Actually, right now we're looking to reclaim the range. We're pumping above the value area low, and I did enter along here. We did see some divergences as we put in that low on the 15-minute with money flow and momentum. Even on the 1 hour, I believe we had some local divergences, and we did. Even with money flow stemming back to that low that we just SFP'd, the money flow diverged, so that is slightly bullish. Maybe that can give us another pump up into this range and hopefully up to some of these resistances to maybe get an even juicier short entry. So to the upside, these are pretty much the levels I'm watching. I have some order blocks marked out, and basically what I did to find these is I went from the high time frames and down, looking for the highest time frame order blocks that were there, and I didn't see anything on the 6 hour that hadn't been tagged. But going down to the 4 hour, we do have this order block, what you can call an order block. And on the 3 hour, it is even cleaner because it has a purple candle next to it. So, even if you don't consider this 4 hour one an order block, the 3 hour one is right here as well. And the only reason I called it a 4 hour is because the 4 hour goes a little bit lower than the 3 hour block. So just move it down a little bit. It's not that big a deal. And that is the only high time frame order block that I could see in this area. But going down to some of the lower time frames, we do have some 15-minute order blocks. So we'll go to the lowest one first. I was looking at this one. You can see this one is also in between two purples, so I like that. And this one back here is not in between two purples, but it's just kind of narrowing down an area inside that larger order block. So that's why I have it marked out. And there are some areas of confluence around these. So the PD value area low and the 0.5 fib from this high to the low is lining up on this 15-minute order block. And this also would agree with structure. If we reject from this one, we could still kind of continue this downtrend, even though we had a false break here. So, following structure from the high, we had a bearish break right here, put in a lower high, a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, boom, had this false break, but then just continued the downtrend anyway. But I would be looking at this as the lower high. So we could continue this downtrend, reject off this 15-minute, or we could potentially SFP this high, still technically continue structure if we get a quick wick up into this area, but then don't close up above this high. I'd probably say a 30-minute candle. I wouldn't want to see a 30-minute close above this. And we have a nice area of confluence around this order block as well. We have the golden pocket and the PDPOC plus that 15-minute order block, and we could potentially run liquidity from this high. So these are the two areas locally that I'd be watching pretty much inside this value area. You could also look at the value area high since it's at the top of this 4-hour order block, and the PD value area high is up here as well, and the 786, so there's some confluence up there as well. And other than that, my levels are still pretty much the same. I'm watching this order block up here, this order block down here, because we still did not tag that, but we could SFP the lows one more time into that. And then I would be watching the 4-hour higher low to the downside. But, again, if we start to lose this guy with some high time frame closes, I will be getting a lot more bearish. Alright, I think that is everything I wanted to go over. Thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate the support. And I will see you all in the next one.